Update number 1. My husband secretly gambled away $40,000, but that's not the worst part. Okay, Reddit? Buckle up, this one's got layers. I 34F have been married to my husband 38M for 6 years. We live in a nice city townhouse, no kids unless you count our cat, who has better credit than both of us, apparently. I work from home as a freelance graphic designer, which is code for sometimes I'm flush, sometimes I cry at QuickBooks. He works in tech, makes decent money, wears Alberts unironically, and does that thing where he checks our Nest thermostat like it's a Tamagotchi. You get the vibe. We've always kept our finances mostly separate, but we have a joint account for bills. I figured that was healthy. I also figured I married a man who didn't have a secret casino app addiction. We all make mistakes. So a few weeks ago, I start noticing weird little things. The joint account is running low before the end of the month. I ask him, he shrugs. Says work's been slow, bonuses delayed, blah blah capitalism. I let it go. Then I see to $500 withdrawals on the same day. Cash. Now, I'm not a confrontational person by nature, but I am very nosy. I ask again, casually, hey, what's with the cash? You starting a second life as a barista? Robbing a bank the old-fashioned way? He laughs, oh, just needed some walking around money. First of all, who says walking around money in 2025? So I do what any rational adult does when they suspect their partner is being sketchy. I become a low-grade pie. I check our transaction history. I look at his Venmo shout-out to public settings. I even dig through the junk drawer where we keep old receipts, rubber bands, and the soul of our marriage apparently. What do I find? A receipt from an ATM at a casino. Not just any casino, the one 2 hours away that he once called a sad carpeted hellhole. Reader. He went to the sad carpeted hellhole. I confront him calmly. I sit him down, pour 2 glasses of wine, one for me, one for future me to chug later, and ask him point blank, are you gambling? His face does this twitchy half smile thing like a kid caught sneaking cookies. Only a little, he says. It's not a problem. Let's fast forward a few screaming matches and one very awkward dinner where I pretend to eat while silently Googling divorce attorney near me. Turns out, he's been gambling for over a year. Not just a little. Not just fun money, try $40,000. That's for zeros in case you missed it. I lose it. Rightfully so. He cries, says he didn't want to tell me because he didn't want me to worry. Oh, honey, I'm very worried now. He promises he's done, he deleted the apps, he'll go to therapy, blah blah redemption arc. But here's where it goes off the rails. My sister 36F, who is smarter than me, meaner than me, and has hated my husband since 2019 for reasons she refuses to elaborate on, decides to do her own digging. She calls me one night and says, check the attic. I'm like, what? For what, rats? A secret gambling elf, she says nothing. Just trust me. So I do. I grab a chair, climb up, and look around. There's a dusty old gym bag shoved behind a box of Halloween decorations. Inside, stacks of cash. And a ledger. I wish I was kidding. It's like something out of a bad mob movie. The ledger is handwritten. Who does that? And it has dates, amounts, and notes. Turns out, my dear husband has won a lot of money too. Like, at one point, he was up $75,000. But instead of telling me, or paying down our mortgage, or literally doing anything rational, he kept going. Chasing the high. Playing both sides. And now he's down $40,000. This man had a secret stash of cash while telling me we couldn't afford a new couch. I haven't confronted him about the attic discovery yet. I don't even know how to begin that conversation. Hey, babe, quick cue, are we in a money laundering subplot I missed? I'm still reeling, I'm mad. I'm also weirdly impressed. Like, the audacity of this man. The sheer chaos. So here I am, Reddit. Do I confront him again? Do I tell him I found his secret attic vault? Do I call my sister and let her say I told you so in 17 different tones? And more importantly, is this marriage even salvageable? Because right now, the only thing I want to gamble on is whether I can get through this without setting our townhouse on fire. Update number 2, I confronted my husband about the attic money. It did not go the way I expected, so first of all, thank you to everyone who commented DMED, or just lurked and silently judged. Y'all are my emotional support group now. Several of you said things like, don't confront him until you have a plan, or lawyer up first. One person suggested I replace the cash with Monopoly money and wait for him to notice. Respect anyway. Here's what happened next. I sat on the secret attic discovery for about 3 days. 3 days of weird eye contact, tense silences, and pretending like everything was normal while my brain screamed at me like a fire alarm. In those 3 days, he made us pasta and asked if I wanted to check out that new bar down the street. With what money, sir? He tried to initiate sex, which I declined by saying I had a graphic design migraine. Not a thing, but he didn't ask questions. I caught him scrolling Reddit on his phone and tried to peek at what Reader, it was our sports betting. Again. So I cracked. I didn't do it calmly. I didn't sit him down like a therapist in an indie movie. I walked into the living room holding the bag. I dropped it on the coffee table like a bomb. He looked at it, then at me, and had the audacity to say, "Where'd you find that?" I said, "Oh, just where you keep all your emotionally devastating secrets." Next to the Halloween skeletons, he tried to play dumb at first. Like, that's not what it looks like, bro. It's a gym bag full of cash and a literal gambling ledger. Is it a scrapbook? Then the switch flipped. He got angry. Not sorry. Not scared. Angry. He starts ranting about privacy and boundaries and how I had no right to go through his things. Like he's the wounded party here. I laughed. I fully laughed in his face. Probably not the healthiest reaction, but I was one bad mood away from burning the house down. I told him the truth, that I knew about the gambling, that he's blown through $40,000, and that he's lied to me for over a year while making me feel crazy for noticing. His defense? And I quote, "I never lied. You just didn't ask the right questions, y'all." I saw red. We fought loudly. I said some things I probably shouldn't have. He said some things that made me realize he's way more far gone than I thought. Apparently, he thinks he can win it back. He genuinely believes the attic stash is just temporary funds and that I'm overreacting because technically we're not broke. I asked him why he didn't just use that money to pay off the $40,000 he lost. He shrugged, said it's not that simple. I asked if it's laundered. He didn't deny it, just got quiet. And here's the kicker, he asked me not to tell my sister, which, of course, means I immediately told my sister. She came over the next day with snacks and a duffel bag and asked if I wanted to crash at her place. I didn't leave right then, but I took her up on the offer to hold some of my important docs and a backup laptop. It's getting real. I've since spoken to a divorce lawyer. Just to consult, no decisions yet, but I needed to know my options. Turns out, New York isn't exactly friendly when it comes to dividing mysterious attic gambling funds. Also, fun fact, if I stay married to him and he gets into legal trouble over this, I could be on the hook too. So now I'm stuck. Do I leave and cut my losses, even though technically we still have cash? Do I stay and try to help him get clean? Do I just move into my sister's guest room and live off wine and spite? Part of me still loves him, or at least loves who he was. But the man screaming at me about privacy while hiding thousands in the ceiling isn't the same guy who used to leave me post-it notes on my laptop that said "You're brilliant." I keep thinking about the couch we didn't buy, the vacation we didn't take, the time he said we couldn't afford a $250 vet bill for our cat and made me crowdfund it on Facebook. Meanwhile, this man had cash in the attic. I'm not okay, but I'm trying to be. If you've been through something like this, betrayal, financial or otherwise, how did you know when it was time? Because right now, all I want to do is rent a storage unit for my feelings and crawl inside. Update number 3, I found out who else knows about the attic money, and why my husband's co-worker sent me $3,000 on Venmo. Hey again, internet friends, first, thank you. I read every comment, message, and well-intentioned rant telling me to run. Your words have been a lifeline. Special shout out to the person who said, "Girl, you're not married to a man, you're married to a casino-themed gas leak." You are not. Wrong, let's talk about the Venmo thing. So it's a few days after the attic confrontation. I've been half living at my sister's place, half haunting our townhouse like a financially anxious poltergeist. My husband, let's just call him Jake from now on because my husband is starting to taste like ash and my mouth is still being cagey, still insisting he's handling it and still not touching the attic money. I'm eating leftover pad thai in my sister's kitchen when my phone buzzes. Venmo notification, $3,000 received from Travis K. Note, partial repayment for April. Sorry it's late. First reaction, what? Second reaction, who the hell is Travis K? Now, I don't know many Travises. I definitely don't know any who owe me $3,000. So I Google him. Guess who Travis K is? Jake's co-worker. I've met this guy once at a company holiday party. He wore novelty socks with dollar signs on them. I thought it was a bit. It was not a bit. So I do what any rational adult does. I request $1 on Venmo with the message, "Hi Travis, smiley face, want to explain this." 2 hours later, he calls me. Actually calls. And folks, I was not ready. Here's the gist of what Travis tells me, and yes, I took notes because trauma makes you meticulous. 1. Jake has been informally loaning money to people at work, like a sketchy HR violation in khakis. 2. The loans come with interest suggestions, not required, but encouraged. 3. Travis borrowed $5,000 in April, paid back $3,000 last week because Jake said the deadline was coming. 4. He assumed I knew because apparently Jake uses our address for receipts. One coworker even mailed a thank you card to me. 5. Jake told people the money came from an investment fund he manages on the side. I asked, "So? You think my husband is running a loan shark operation out of our attic. Travis, I didn't want to say it like that. But yeah, kind of, y'all. I confronted Jake again. This time, I didn't yell. I just said, Travis called. You wanna explain why people are Venmoing me money? And Jake smiled. Like a man who just got caught with glitter on his face and still thinks he can convince you it's confetti from a surprise party. He said, you weren't supposed to get that. That was for me. I asked, why does Travis owe you money? He said, and I swear I am quoting directly, it's a side hustle. Don't worry, I'm not charging predatory rates. Excuse me, sir? This man really believes he's some kind of modern-day financial Robin Hood. Except he's not stealing from the rich. He is the rich. Or at least attic rich. I asked if anyone else knows. He said a few guys at work. I asked how much he's loaned out. He said $60,000. That's on top of the $40,000 he lost gambling. And the $30,000 still in the attic. If you're doing the math, that's roughly holy Shasterisk T levels of cash. And here's the part that made my vision go full static. He has a spreadsheet, color-coded, with dates, amounts, and interest bonuses. He's not just addicted to gambling. He's addicted to the drama of money. The chase, the secrecy, the tiny kingdom he's built in the attic with our life as collateral. So here's where I'm at. I've frozen our joint account. I've taken my name off the credit cards. I've filed a police report just to get a paper trail. I'm moving out officially next week. My sister's buying a second wine fridge in celebration. But I haven't filed for divorce yet. I don't know why. Maybe I'm still hoping he'll wake up and see the mess he's made. Or maybe I'm just scared of untangling my life from someone I thought I knew. Reddit, I married a man who turned our attic into a bank. And I'm starting to think I'm the one paying interest. Update number 4. A stranger showed up at my door asking for Jake. He says Jake owes him $10,000. And it's not from work. I thought things couldn't get weirder. That maybe the attic loan shark empire was the peak of Jake's spiral. That once I froze the accounts, packed my stuff, and moved in with my sister, I'd be done discovering new flavors of betrayal. But no. This week, the universe said, lol, so I'm at the townhouse, alone, grabbing the last of my stuff. Jake's not there. He's crashing at a friend's, which I'm 90% sure means he's squatting in someone's crypto minimalist studio while spinning a story about how I'm the one who couldn't handle success. Whatever. I'm boxing up the last of my books when the doorbell rings. I open it to find a guy standing there in a hoodie, jeans, and the kind of expression that says, I don't want to be doing this, but I will if I have to. Late 30s, tired eyes, polite but firm. Is Jake here? I say no. I ask who he is. He pauses, then goes, he owes me 10 grand, just like that. No small talk. No preamble. Just a dude with a backpack full of stress and a debt to collect. I blink. I'm sorry, who are you? He says, my name's Nate. I met Jake on a Discord server last year. He offered to help me flip my emergency fund into short-term high-yield gains. Said he did it for a few friends. Sent me screenshots of payouts. I swear, my soul left my body. This man, took strangers from the internet and talked them into giving him thousands of dollars. Not even for gambling. Not even for loans. For fake investing. I asked Nate, you gave him $10,000, he nods. Over to transfers. First one was $3,000, then $7,000. He told me the return would be at least 15% in 2 months. I ask if he has proof. He opens his phone, shows me Venmo receipts, text messages. One of them says, trust me. This isn't crypto, it's faster. Very low risk. I want to scream. But instead, I ask, did you file a police report? He shakes his head. I was embarrassed. And I figured he'd pay me back eventually. He kept saying the payout was delayed because of regulatory stuff. Then Nate says something that chills me. There's a few others. From the server. Some of them gave him more. Apparently Jake's been running a fake investing scam on top of the gambling and the illegal lending. This man built a financial pyramid out of lies, Venmo, and what I can only assume is unmedicated audacity. I gave Nate the detective's name from my earlier police report. I told him to file something, even if it's just to have his name on record. I also told him I'm no longer married to Jake in any emotional capacity and soon, hopefully, not legally either. After Nate left, I sat on the floor of my half-empty living room and cried. Not just for me. For everyone Jake dragged into his mess. For the co-workers he turned into debtors. For the strangers on Discord he swindled. For the version of me that still believed his slow month at work story. I called my lawyer. Told her everything. We're moving fast now. Freezing more assets. Prepping the paperwork. And I've officially told my parents, which went exactly how you'd expect. Dad, that man always had slick hair. Should have known. Mom, have you checked your credit score today? Bonus, my aunt has now offered to curse him. She's not a witch. She just has very strong opinions and a lot of free time. Jake still hasn't reached out. I think he knows the jig is up. Or maybe he's just waiting for his next investment opportunity to crawl out from under a rock. Reddit, I'm done. I'm tired. I'm heartbroken. I'm broken more ways than one. But for the first time in months, I feel clean. I'm not married to a man. I was married to a walking Ponzi scheme in Alberts. Update number 5. Jake tried to win me back with an attic surprise. It involved candles. It did not end well. At this point, I thought I had seen the full range of Jake's insanity. I thought the pyramid of gambling, shady loans, and Discord scams was the final boss. I thought surely, after being confronted by me, Nate, the cops, and probably the IRS by now, he'd retreat into a hole and ghost the world like a disgraced magician. But Jake is nothing if not consistent. He always finds a new low and then puts mood lighting on it. So, a week after the Nate incident, I'm staying full-time at my sister's place. My lawyer is drafting up the divorce papers. I've blocked Jake on everything except email because that's how my lawyer prefers to communicate with him. Everything is quiet. Too quiet. Until I get a call from my neighbor. Hey, not trying to get in the middle of anything, but I think your husband's doing something weird at the townhouse. My heart does a little pitfall. Define weird. Neighbor says, there's smoke coming from your attic window. And it smells like lavender? I hang up and drive over, fully prepared to find Jake dead in a beanbag chair surrounded by scented candles and regret. What I find is worse. Jake has set up a whole romantic scene in the attic. Yes, the same attic where he stashed gambling cash and spreadsheets and the kind of secrets that make your soul detach. He lit dozens of candles, real ones, not even battery operated. There's a sad little Bluetooth speaker playing that one acoustic Ed Sheeran song that gets used in every wedding montage. And in the middle of the room, a handwritten love letter on top of a literal pile of money. I wish I were exaggerating. This man made a cash nest like a demented romance pigeon and tried to coax me back with it. I stand in the attic doorway, stunned, eyes watering, not from emotion, but because apparently Jake thought lavender incense and candle smoke go together. He walks in like he's Prince Charming, holding 2 mugs of something that smells suspiciously like Swiss Miss. I go, what is this? He grins. It's a gesture. I want to show you I'm serious about us. I've been thinking about everything. Therapy, the scams, the loans. I want to change. I stare at him. And you thought this would help? He looks genuinely confused. You always said you liked candlelight. Reader, I did. In the bathroom. While taking a bath. Not in a fire hazard pyramid scheme shrine. I point to the stack of money. What even is this? Blood money? Scam dividends. He actually says, it's clean. I mean, mostly I lost it. I told him this was the most narcissistic, tone-deaf, potentially flammable apology I've ever seen. That I didn't want a cash pile. I wanted my life back. Then the smoke detector went off. Fitting, honestly. I left him up there waving a dish towel at the ceiling like a medieval idiot, trying to fight a dragon. Later, he sent me one last text before I blocked his new number. I thought maybe we could start over. The attic has good energy now. Reddit, the attic has demonic energy. That thing needs to be saged, sealed, and possibly turned into a haunted airbin. Here's where I'm at now. Divorce paperwork is filed. My sister made margaritas and a spreadsheet called the Anti-Jake Fund. I've joined a Discord group for women recovering from relationship-based financial trauma. Irony noted. I'm seeing a therapist. She's great. Her office doesn't smell like lavender arson. I keep wondering who I would have been if I hadn't married Jake. How many things I gave up to protect someone who was never protecting me. But then I think, maybe I found me because of him. Like a fire reveals what the house was made of. Spoiler, this house was made of lies, debt, and approximately 47 Yankee candles. Update number 6, there were 3 secret stash spots, not 1, not 2, 3. Also, Jake's being investigated now. Hey Reddit, thought I was out? Surprise, the attic ghost drags you back in. I didn't think I'd be back with another update, and I cannot stress this enough. Jake is a human Matryoshka doll of financial crimes. Every time I think I've reached the core, I pop it open and find another, smaller, more deeply unhinged Jake inside. So here's how I found out about the other stash spots. It starts with a subpoena. I'm sitting in my sister's kitchen, which now has to wine fridges and a communal group chat. Named Escape from Jake Ionia when I get a knock at the door. Not a text, not a call, a knock. It's a woman with sharp cheekbones and a folder that says subpoena in large, soul-piercing font. Turns out, there's now a formal investigation into Jake's side hustle. Multiple co-workers have filed fraud complaints. Some of the Discord victims came forward after reading Nate's Reddit comments. Yes, apparently he found my post and shared it with other people Jake scammed. I wasn't named in the filing, thank God. But since we were still technically married during most of the money movement, I'm considered a potential witness, which is legal speak for hey, you lived with a walking Ponzi scheme, can we talk? I tell my lawyer. She tells me to tell the truth and only the truth. So I do. Enter whistleblower coworker. Let's call him Kevin. Kevin reaches out via Instagram DMs because why not keep things chaotic? And says he used to be in on it. On what, I ask? Kevin, the cash game. The stash. Apparently, Jake had this whole system. There was the attic stash, the bonus fund as Jake called it, but also a lockbox in our HVAC crawl space labeled by tools that was actually filled with wrapped bills, USB drives, and cryptocurrency ledgers. 2. A showbox hidden in a hollowed-out wall panel behind the laundry shelf inside a box of old detergent pods. It held gift cards. So many. Gift cards. Amazon, Target, freaking Cheesecake Factory. One coworker got paid back in Cheesecake Factory gift cards. I wish I was joking. Jake was hiding his little treasure troves like a chaotic squirrel preparing for capitalism's winter. Kevin tells me this because he's scared Jake might retaliate if things get serious, and apparently, Jake already jokingly threatened to leak dirt on coworkers who didn't pay their interest. You know what that sounds like? Blackmail. With a lavender scent. So now the case has layers. It's no longer just dude had a gambling problem. It's gambling fraud, unlicensed lending, potential identity theft. One victim's info was used to sign up for a credit card. Again, not me. Oh yeah. And now witness intimidation. I passed everything Kevin gave me to the detective assigned to the case. Emails, screenshots, pictures of the crawlspace box. My lawyer thinks I'll be in the clear, but she said the phrase asset disentanglement, which sounds like something you hire an exorcist for. And then there's Jake. He showed up at my sister's house yesterday. Not yelling, not pleading. Just standing there on the porch with his sad face and his weird little leather folder. I didn't answer the door. My sister did. She looked him dead in the eyes and said, "She's not here. You can Venmo her your feelings." He left. And I finally blocked everything. Even his email. So now? I'm helping the investigation from a distance. This isn't law and order, SVU. I'm not that brave. I've got a separate bank account, new locks on my door, and a therapist who just nods and says wow a lot. I've gone full fire sale on anything Jake ever touched. I sold the couch, donated his books, gave the cat a new scratching post because she deserves a fresh start too. Reddit, I married a man who didn't just live a double life. He lived a quadruple entry spreadsheet of lies. And I almost let him convince me I was the problem. Never again. Update number 7, divorce finalized. Jake's facing charges. I used the Cheesecake Factory gift cards to throw a screw this man dinner. We made it, Reddit. The divorce is final. The saga of Jake and the magical attic of financial depravity is officially over, at least for me. The legal system, however, is just getting started with him. Here's how the end of the line played out. The divorce. Signed. Sealed. Filed. I've got the paperwork, the freedom, and the Spotify playlist my sister made called Jake Who. First track. Thank you. Next, obviously. I walked out of the courthouse with a weird mix of emotions. It's not just sadness. It's relief, anger, exhaustion, and weirdly, pride. Because I survived it. I didn't burn down the attic, I didn't Venmo anyone threatening notes, and I didn't take him back even when he stood outside my sister's place in the rain like a broke John Cusack. The investigation. Jake has officially been charged with unlicensed money lending, fraud, misrepresentation of investments to counts of identity theft. Yep. It was worse than I knew. Attempted witness intimidation. He's out on bail paid for by someone. I don't know, possibly his crypto friend Blade, who I met once and wish I hadn't. Trials scheduled in a few months. I won't have to testify unless he tries to blame me for anything, which my lawyer is watching like a hawk. Apparently, the final known scam count is at least 9 people, including 3 co-workers to Discord acquaintances, 1 barista, and 1 guy who literally just saw Jake posting on a finance subreddit and DM'd him. This man turned our Financia Lindendens into a recruiting ground for his real-life pyramid scheme. The subreddit mods would cry. The attic, the townhouse, was sold as part of the asset division. I took my share, paid off some leftover joint debts, and used the rest to put a down payment on a small studio, buy a new laptop, replace everything Jake ever touched with something from literally anywhere else. The attic, it's no longer my problem. The new buyers asked 0 questions. I left them a scented candle and a very polite "do not open the walls" note. JK. Sort of. The gift cards, oh baby. Remember the wall stash of gift cards? I gave some away to the scam victims Jake hadn't refunded. They were grateful, even if one guy was like, "I've never eaten at Cheesecake Factory. Is this revenge?" and kept a couple for me. So I threw a dinner party. We called it the Screw This Man So Hard We're Having Appetizers banquet. Just me, my sister, 2 close friends, and my therapist. Yes, really, she was curious. We spent $89 on cocktails, $74 on appetizers, to $112 on entrees, and $56 on cheesecake. We tipped well. The waiter asked if we were celebrating something. My sister said, freedom. I told him, a man built a financial cult in my attic. I'm here for the catharsis and the key lime, he said, respect, where I'm at now. Honestly, still processing. I'll be unpacking this emotionally for years, probably. I'm working again. My clients have been amazing. A few of them even joked about commissioning me to design a logo for Jake's House of Shady Loans. Spoiler, I did. Just for fun. It's hideous. I still flinch when I get random Venmo notifications. I still have expect to find loose cash in weird places. But I also sleep better. I laugh more. I'm not walking on emotional eggshells all the time. I realized something the other day. I didn't lose everything. I lost a man who was never real in the first place. What I gained? My time, my energy, my credit score, and a hell of a story. Final bonus epilogue, Jake got sentenced. I got closure. And I finally went back to the attic, one last time. Hey Reddit. It's been a few months since I signed off, but I promised one last update after the trial. So here it is, the weird, bittersweet, totally unhinged end to the story of me, Jake, and the cursed attic of dreams, debt, and dumb decisions. The trial. It actually happened faster than expected. Jake took a plea deal. I wasn't called to testify, but I showed up anyway, mostly for closure, partly because I needed to see it. To see the guy who used to make me pancakes on Sundays now sitting there in a suit that didn't quite fit, surrounded by lawyers, victims, and the sound of his own consequences. He pled guilty to wire fraud, unlicensed money lending to counts of ID theft, attempted obstruction. He got 4 years in state prison and 10 years probation. He also owes over $120,000 in restitution. The court seized whatever was left in his name, which, thanks to my lawyer, didn't include a single dollar of mine. Victory. His statement. He gave one of those apology speeches in court. It was fine. He didn't cry. He said things like I made mistakes and I lost sight of myself. My favorite line, I never meant to hurt anyone. I just wanted to build something. Sir, you built a financial Jenga tower made of lies and then threw a candle on top. But okay, he never looked at me. Not once. The attic, yes, I went back. Okay, so technically I no longer own the townhouse. But I reached out to the new owners, a very chill couple who I guess read the Reddit post because when I introduced myself, the husband just said, the attic lady. I asked if I could stop by one last time, just to see it. They were cool with it. So I went. It's empty now. They remodeled, new insulation, clean white paint, normal lighting. No incense. No candle wax. No unholy ledger of lies. But there's a weird, quiet energy up there. Not haunted. Not cursed. Just heavy. Like the emotional dust hasn't quite settled. I stood there for maybe 2 minutes. Then I said out loud, we're done now, and I left. Where I am now, still in therapy. Still working. I picked up a new hobby, woodworking, because I wanted to make things that stay built. I've gone on a few dates. One guy asked if I was the attic girl from Facebook. I said yes. He said, that story was wild. You're way prettier than I imagined. We split the bill. It was fine. Mostly, I'm healing. Not the cheesy kind of healing. Not the bubble bath and manifestation kind though. Yes, I still love a good lavender soak. More like, I wake up without dread. I check my bank account and know where every cent came from. I sit with silence and it doesn't feel like waiting for a bomb to drop. Jake took a lot from me. But he didn't take me. I took me back. And if you're reading this because you're in something that feels wrong but isn't quite proof yet, trust the feeling. Check the attic. Or the crawl space. Or the part of your gut that keeps whispering, this isn't love, this is survival because you deserve better. And you can get out. I did. If you like these stories and videos, make sure to like, comment, and share so we can make some money from ad revenue and continue getting better and better with our publications. We strive to donate a portion of everything we make to charities that make a difference. Let us know if there is someone or thing you want to support. Thank you for staying until the end and enjoying the story.